was like we carry a lot of things from India, right? From utensils to new mobiles, jackets, everything. And finally, when the person gets over there, they realize that, okay, this is very cheap in US. So what do you recommend? Like, can you actually bring from India and what can you avoid?
Um, yeah, so electronics, jackets, all those are definitely cheaper here. And if you're a student, once you get your student ID, you would even get some student offers on laptops and stuff. So definitely buy your laptops here, unless you already have a good one. And even phones, if you need a new one, you would definitely get a cheaper one here. And jackets, yeah, definitely buy it here. So I did my winter shopping only after coming here. So if you're going to come in fall, it won't be that cold. So you can come and buy it the next day itself. It's definitely cheaper here. India, yeah, you can get certain utensils. You don't have to get anything. Probably pressure cooker, because all those things would be a little expensive here. You will still get it in the Indian store if you want to, but it'll be a slightly expensive. You get all Indian groceries here. So everything under one roof. You just have to go to an Indian store, which is there in almost all places, and you get all kinds of groceries there. Um, don't get rice and bags of rice and dal and stuff. All that you get. Probably these small items, something that you use for your curries, or your favorite ingredients that you think will be expensive here. All those things you can get. Certain clothes you can get. You don't have to get a lot. Even those you get here. So yeah, I made the mistake of getting a lot of clothes, but it's obviously, all those are obviously cheaper here. There are so many sales here. Like, you have Thanksgiving, Christmas, all those times you get really cheap stuff. So you don't have to worry about that expense. So it is pretty cheap. Yeah. So I would say just pack light. You get everything here. Yeah, that's enough.
Okay, okay. So how did it feel like landing? Like I can
Yeah,
literally imagine myself landing in a foreign land, no? And I cannot explain the feelings now.
yeah, definitely mixed feelings. It was amazing. I still remember the first day I landed, and but that's when I realized that I'm very far far away from home. So I was a bit homesick too, but it did feel good. There were really new opportunities and exciting experiences waiting for me. So it was very exciting. It was amazing. Yeah.
And did you have your group of friends when you came to the US, or you were the only person in your gang who got admission in US?
Yeah, so some of my undergrad friends also did apply to a lot of universities, but no one was there in New York University. But we did, help out each other. So that experience was good. We did apply to similar universities, or some of us even applied to the same universities, but we didn't end up studying together. So nobody ended up studying together, but it was very helpful, sharing experiences from each other's universities, and stuff like that. We even had similar coursework, so we were able to, um, uh, you know, um, share all those learnings. But yeah, so if you have someone, that's great. You would have someone to, clear all your doubts, and you can do stuff together. So yeah, having someone is great, who's applying along with you.
And okay, how do you recommend networking in US? Like, do you say that networking is very important? You need to literally attend each fest in your university, or you need to like network with all the people in the university, so that somewhere or the other, at some point of time, they will help you out with opportunities and all. How do you recommend networking in US?
Yeah, it is pretty important. So in most cases, you are here by yourself. You'll be staying with roommates who are actually strangers in the beginning. So it is important that you have a good relationship with certain friends. At least make some friends in the US. And it's not like India, where you'll be sitting in this one class and professors will come and give lectures and go. So you'll be moving from class to class. So every class you'll be sitting with different set of people.
Okay.
So it's important to make friends in each and every class, and even reach out to your professors, because they could recommend you to some jobs, because certain companies, they will just reach out to the professor and ask them for recommendation. um, out of their current set of students, and they could recommend you. So possibly just get to know them, and yeah, if you're doing a teaching or research assistantship, then that's great. You'll be working very closely with your professors. And there are a lot of career fairs that are going on within the university or outside the university. So make sure you go there, like, give out your resume and network with them. They would, the companies in exchange, they would give their cards. So reach out to them, email them, and keep looking on all those websites if there are, any internship opportunities or any other career opportunities. And also you can reach out to people on LinkedIn. It's good to manage your profile on LinkedIn and make sure you update it regularly. So yeah, these are some things that you can do to network. It's definitely important.
Okay. So, did you get any internships while you were on your NYU University, or was these internships via the networking that you were on LinkedIn, you got it via someone on LinkedIn? Was it something like that?
Yeah, so I did apply to a lot of summer internships here. So after 2 semesters, you can start working outside, and so I did apply after 2 semesters. I started applying for the summer internship, and I just randomly found certain startups. I was just googling something and found certain startups in New York, which are looking for people. So I applied. I think there were this top 10 startups or some blog like that. That's where I found the startup, and I applied to all of them. I applied to all 10, tried to find people on LinkedIn, tried to find the HR of those startups on LinkedIn, and applied as in I just emailed those people, and I got a response from two of them.
Okay.
So two of them is called.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you will have to face all those rejects also. Not all people are very responsive, and not everyone has the time, but you will have to put in that effort.
Mhm.
So yeah, those startups, they called me for an interview, and one of them went through. So that's how I did the internship. You can also apply to big companies, like big tech companies. You can just go to their website and they would have all the open positions. Yeah, so it's easy to apply there. If you want to apply to startups or stuff like that, then you need to know some person, or need to do like something like what I did. So yeah, there are many avenues to apply. You just have to find something that will work for you.
Okay. So I wouldn't ask that how much you earned during your internship. So what would be the rough wage rate that they gave, like to all the internship students? Like if some of my students, if they are going for an internship, so how much can they expect as a pay?
It really depends on the company. Some of them, even some of my friends even did like a unpaid internship just for the experience. So it really depends on the company. There are companies which can fund the rest of your education. There are companies which don't pay you, so there is no average there. So it really depends on the company. So I don't I don't know if I can give a number on that.
Okay. And Geetu, when it comes to part-time, like it isn't like part-times, mostly what I feel is part-times are like not very related to your profile. And people mostly, if I was a student, I would have gone for a part-time that obviously doesn't match my profile, but then it would help me for my like living costs and all. So what is the wage rate of the part-time in US?
Part-time, it depends on state to state, it depends. So in New York, I think when I was studying, minimum wage was $12. Students were getting paid $12, and it depends on the university also. Certain universities, they defer the payment. Like for teaching assistantship, it would be this cost, and for something else, it would be something some other cost. And I think it increased a bit also. So it depends on the state, depends on the university. And I would, regarding your question about a part-time which is not related to your profile, well, if you really have to do it, if you can't afford it and you really need it for your expenses, then yeah, I would say do spend a little bit of time. But make sure you're doing other stuff also, like, you know, you're networking, attending your courses properly, your assignments, because you'll be really busy with that. So make sure you do that and don't overwork yourself, because once you get a job, that wouldn't matter. That you know, those $10 or $20 won't really matter. So you just have to struggle through that 2 years, or even you can even finish your course in 1.5 years if you want. It would be a little hectic, but it depends on the university again. So just power through that, and once you get a job, it won't really matter. Try to do something that matches your profile, so that you're investing so much time working in that particular job. So if it's going to help with your resume or help you get a job, then that's great. So try to find something like that. But worst case, if you really can't afford things, then yeah, I do. I would suggest go for it, but don't do anything illegal, you know. So you can work
Yeah,
within your university, but
yeah,
you
yeah. I
can't
know.
work outside your. Like there were some people who worked in restaurants and you know, just for the money. That's not really worth it. Once you get a job, it won't really matter.
Okay, okay. So what you're saying, like, do a work that adds a value to your profile, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah,
try as much as you can to do
yeah,
that.
yeah. So my next question will be, what was the most challenging thing that you faced when you landed in US? Like something that you thought that, okay, this will be very difficult for me. How will I do it alone? I've been with my parents for so long. How am I supposed to do this alone? Something that you faced in US like this?
Yeah, probably one difficulty was trying to find a house. So I didn't want to sign a lease sitting in India without even knowing what kind of area that is, without seeing the house. So I just booked a temporary accommodation for 2 weeks and came here and thought I'll just wing it. I'll find a house here. I did find roommates on the NYU groups. So there are WhatsApp groups specific for each university. So you can join that once you get an admit, or like even before. So I did manage to find roommates, but it was very difficult to find a house within our budget. So, and some people are even have second thoughts about giving houses for students. You need a guarantor to sign for you. So all those things are there. So in certain universities, it doesn't matter. There are certain specific communities where only students stay, and even though landlords are okay with that, and they would just assign you a house, you can find a house immediately. But since I think this is a city, and I had to do that by myself. So literally on the last day of my of when the lease ended for the temporary accommodation, I got a house and I managed to move. So yeah, that was a challenge. If you have someone here who is willing to, you know, go look for the house, or if you have someone here who would explain what kind of an area it is and which areas are good for students, then please take their advice because you're moving to a brand new country and you have no idea about things there. So yeah, take help from people if possible, like your seniors or relatives or whatever. So that was a challenge for me. And yeah, also I came straight out of my parents' house. My UG I did only from I went from my parents' house. So this was the first time I hadn't stayed in a hostel or anything. Here, you in India, you have people to like cook for you, to do your laundry, all of that. So here,
Yeah.
you have to do everything. You need to take care of yourself. You'll get used to it, like that kind of settles in. But it does take time to cope up with your new life. But in the end, you'll be really proud that you're actually truly independent. So yeah, you'll be really proud, but it takes some time to, you know, manage that while you're also homesick. So all those feelings are there. So yeah. And I would also recommend visiting India when you're a student. You're obviously homesick and you miss your parents, your friends, and all that. So when you're a student, if you have the money, if you think you can travel, then do travel, because after you start working, uh, there's not enough time to travel. You
Okay,
don't get a lot of
okay.
money. So when you're a student, if you can, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a common complaint from many people in US, right? And not particularly in US,
Yeah,
but also abroad.
that's true. Yeah, we're always homesick. But yeah, you get used to it.
Hmm. Okay. And while answering this question, somewhere you mentioned about joining WhatsApp groups from universities. So, how do you exactly join these groups? Like, are these numbers available somewhere, or how do we join these groups?
So I joined the group from I actually joined an NYU group in on Facebook, and someone from who got the same admit started messaging me on Facebook, and she was able to get me to join that group. So yeah, you can start with Facebook, and if you get even one contact, then you can network and join those groups. So there are different groups available for all universities for each year, each admit. So there's a spring admit and a fall admit. So yeah, so once you start networking on Facebook or any kind of social media, then you will be able to get into those groups. Sometimes you will be the person who's starting that group, but yeah, it's good to have something like that.
Okay, okay. So, when you mentioned about finding an accommodation was very difficult in US, so I mean, this is a common question. As an Indian, I would do like, were there also hostels in the universities, or you didn't want to get into the hostels and you wanted somewhere outside the university?
Yeah, they do have these dorms in every university, but the preference was given for undergrad students and not master students. And I also felt, at least in NYU, the dorms were a little more expensive than staying by yourself. And also, food will be provided in dorms, and you have all that luxury. So, of course, it's worth paying that. But it's really up to you to choose. Most master students prefer to stay outside. You can cook by yourself. You can find a house that you like. You don't necessarily have to stay near the university. So I stayed about half an hour away from the university,
Okay.
because it was much cheaper there. Near the university, it's obviously a little expensive.
Mhm.
So it's really up to you, but most master students prefer to stay by themselves.
So my last question would be like, what do you suggest or what would you advise to the students who are going to come to the US now?
Um, Now, because of COVID, I think a lot of people are apprehensive on whether they should apply, whether they should come, what kind of classes they'll have. I think certain universities have started opening up. They have hybrid classes, like they have an online option, they have an in-person option, and the vaccine is almost here. So if you want to get vaccinated and come, that's advisable. So that's there. Apart from COVID, I think doing my masters was more about life lessons. I did learn a lot. Yeah, academically I did learn a lot, but it's more about your life, and you being independent in another country, you handling everything by yourself, you taking complete care of yourself. There's nobody to help you, so it was more about life and getting new experiences, new kind of exposure. And I would say grab every opportunity that comes your way, because you get only one shot at doing those things. Not everyone gets a second opportunity. So I would say yes to everything that you're comfortable with. Even try to move out of your comfort zone and try something new. So I would say it's also a lot of money. So make sure you put in that effort, and make sure you're really passionate about what you're doing, what you're pursuing, because that'll be something that you do for your rest of your life. At least for most people, it is. So make sure you do that, and yeah, and also enjoy it, because I do miss my student life now. Work is good. Work is good in other kind of ways, but I know I'll never get my student life back. So that time, and so try to experience as much as possible, and try to get all those life lessons in, as well as your academics. Yeah, and also good luck to everyone who's applying. Would be happy to help or reach out to anyone who has any other questions.
Okay. Okay, Geetanjali, would you be very comfortable or would you be slightly comfortable when we leave your LinkedIn profile on our description so that if any student has a problem, can they reach out to you?
Yeah, yeah, sure. We can do that. I can send you my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, okay, guys, so that you heard that well. You can reach out Geetanjali through her LinkedIn profile, and I think this story was very inspiring, motivating, like how she traveled all the way from Chennai to USA, and then she has established her own, what do you say, empire, I would say. Now she works in a reputed company. So, Geetanjali, it was very nice talking to you. Your story was very inspiring to all of us, and we really wish that
Same
you.
here, nice talking to you, Gauri.
Yeah, we really wish that you take flights from the US, and make sure that you come to India. Whenever you come to India, do visit SIC.
Sure, definitely. Once I get vaccinated, I'm coming.
Thank you. Thank you, Geetanjali. It was very nice talking to you. Thank you.